When Andrew White took Char Technologies public on the TSX Venture Exchange in 2016, he was more focused on what he stood to gain than what he stood to lose. But going public wasn't the solution he'd been convinced it would be. All of a sudden, his regulatory compliance costs, the costs of being public, skyrocketed. What's more, he lost access to valuable and non-dilutive R&D tax incentives. His advisors and officials from the TSX Venture Exchange were quick to pin the blame on Canada's policymakers. But were they really to blame?
The number of public companies per million population in Canada is more than 5 times higher than in the United States. Does that mean there is a greater need for audit services here in Canada? We don't think so. About 2 years ago, the Globe and Mail published an article about the heavy tax burdens faced by companies going public in Canada. The company featured in the article was required to publish its interim quarterly financial statements online. So, we took the opportunity to download their December 31st, 2022 quarterly financial statements and look at them. At $243,182, the company's quarterly professional fees exceeded their gross profit of just $219,713. Their office expenses were more than 3 times their gross profit. Their loss from operations was more than $1.5 million before a federal government grant from Sustainable Development Technologies Canada of about $600,000. How much of the risk for the company's operations should Canada's taxpayers take on? In our view, on the surface, their problem seemed most likely to be the result of a combination of bad leadership and self-serving tax, management, and financial advice from their professional advisors.
Just as concerning, why would a company with just $2 million in annual revenue take on the overhead of a public listing on one of Canada's stock markets?
Perhaps the reason is that company insiders and consultants have been given stock options representing more than 1/3 of what other shareholders have paid in cash. Is $5.28 million in share-based payments warranted in a company that has most likely never made a profit? Before you answer, consider that the accumulated deficit exceeds all of the other investors' purchases of shares.
While the overhead of being public still weighs down companies like Char Technologies, Canada's 2025 budget at least appears to extend enhanced R&D tax credits to our public companies. We'll see whether Canada's embattled Liberal minority can actually get the budget passed.